A being from a higher dimension could reach straight through these walls and pluck you out of a locked room like a child lifting a coin off a table. No door opens, no wall breaks, you are simply gone. That is not a ghost story. If the geometry is real, it is just math. There are directions hiding all around you right now, and you will never see them, never touch them, never even point at them. By the time we reach the top of this climb, I am going to show you the strangest level of all. The one that may be wrapped around every single point in the space in front of your face, smaller than an atom, threaded through you this very second. And you will never feel it. Let us start at the bottom, at nothing. Dimension 0 is a point. It has no length, it has no width, it has no depth. It is pure position and nothing else. You cannot measure it because there is nothing to measure. It does not point anywhere because there is no direction to point in. It is the smallest possible something, a location with no size. Now imagine a being that lives there, a stickman crushed down into a single dot. This creature knows only one thing, itself. There is no left, there is no right, there is no forward, there is no later. It cannot move, because movement needs somewhere to move to, and there is no to. It cannot even pace in place. It cannot grow bored, because boredom needs time, and time is a kind of direction it does not have either. It is a prisoner in a cell with 0 walls, because a wall would already be too much universe. This is the loneliest place that can exist. A single fact, floating in nowhere, aware of nothing but the bare fact of being. Hold on to that feeling of total enclosure. We are going to climb out of it now, and every step up is going to feel like a god reaching down. Dimension 1, a line. Now we have length, just length, one single direction and its opposite. Forward and back, that is the entire universe. Our stickman lives on this line now. He can slide forward, he can slide back. That is all he will ever do. And here's the part that should bother you. He cannot turn around. Turning around requires width, a sideways, a second direction to swing through. He does not have one. If another creature sits on the line in front of him, that creature is a wall, an absolute wall. He cannot step around it because there is no around. There is no sideways for the stepping to happen in. To pass it, he would have to pass through it. He cannot even imagine sideways. Ask him to picture a direction that is not forward and not back, and his mind has no slot for the question. It is like asking you to picture a brand new color you have never seen. The words make a sentence. Your brain returns nothing. That is the first time we meet the real strangeness of dimensions. It is not that the lower being is small, it is that there are directions all around it that it cannot even conceive of. Keep that in your pocket. We are going to do the exact same thing to you in a few minutes. Dimension 2, a flat plane. Now we add width, length and width, but 0 height. Picture an infinite sheet of paper, impossibly thin, and everything that exists lives painted right into the surface. This is the famous idea from the old story Flatland, written back in 1884. Our stickman is happy here. He can move forward and back. He can move left and right. He can turn around. He can draw shapes. He thinks he has it all, but he has no concept of up. None. Up is a direction that leaves the page entirely, and his whole reality is the page. A house in Flatland is just a closed loop drawn on the surface. A square, 4 lines for walls. To him, that square is a perfectly sealed, perfectly secure box. There is no way in. The walls go all the way around. Now watch what we do to him. Because we live 1 floor up. You and I are 3-dimensional. To the flat being, we are basically gods. Look at what we can do. We can gaze down at his sealed box from above and see everything inside it at once. Every wall, every room. The Flatlander himself, standing in the middle, certain he is hidden, we see straight through him too. His whole body is just a drawn outline, and from up here, the inside of that outline is wide open to our eyes. We can lower one finger into the middle of his locked house without crossing a single wall. From his point of view, a shape appears out of nowhere inside a sealed room. We can touch him. We can lift him straight up off the plane, and now he is gone. Vanished. To every other Flatlander, he did not walk out. He did not break a wall, he simply stopped existing in one spot, and that is impossible. Then we set him down somewhere else across the plane, and he reappears out of thin air. To them, this is not science. This is a miracle, or a nightmare, because the explanation lives in a direction their minds physically cannot hold. Burn that scene into your memory. The sealed box we see right through, the hand from above, the being lifted out of a locked room, because we are about to aim every bit of it straight at you. Dimension 3. This is us. Length, width, and height. You can move forward and back, left and right, up and down, 3 independent directions. You live in this, and it feels complete. It feels like all there is, and that comfort is exactly the mistake every creature below you just made. Here is the sentence that should put a crack in your confidence. We are to the Flatlander exactly what a 4-dimensional being would be to us. Sit with that. Every godlike thing we just did to the flat creature looking into his sealed box, reaching in without crossing a wall, lifting him out of a locked room, all of it could be done to you by something 1 floor above. We are not the top of the staircase. We are standing on a step, certain it is the roof, the same way the Flatlander was certain his page was everything. Dimension 4. And there are 2 completely different things people mean by this, so let me hand them to you one at a time. The first is time. In Einstein's physics, we do not live in three-dimensional space. We live in four-dimensional space-time. To meet a friend, you need four numbers: 3 to say where, the street, the floor, the height off the ground, and 1 to say when. Miss the when, and you arrive at an empty room. So time behaves like a fourth axis, woven into the other three. Physicists will tell you it is not quite like the spatial three, it enters the math with a flip sign. But for us, it acts like one more direction you travel along. And here is the cage. You are stuck moving one way through it. You drift forward through time at a steady rate, and you cannot stop, cannot reverse, cannot step sideways out of the current. The line creature could not turn around on his line. You cannot turn around in time. In that sense, you are more trapped than you ever realized. You are a passenger on a one-way street, and that street is the only direction you are not allowed to steer. But time is the tame version. The terrifying one is this: a fourth direction of space, not time, an actual new way to point, sitting at a right angle to length, width, and height all at once. Try to picture that direction right now. Point your finger in a way that is not up, not sideways, not forward. You cannot. Your hand has nowhere to go. Your brain returns nothing, exactly like the line creature asked to imagine sideways. The direction may be real, and you are simply built without the eyes to face it. Now give that fourth spatial direction to a being and let it do to us what we did to Flatland. If such a being exists, it could see straight through you the way we see the whole inside of a flat drawing, every part of you exposed to its gaze at once. It could reach into any sealed container without touching the lid, because the lid only blocks the three directions you know about, and it is arriving from the one you do not. It could reach past your skin entirely, since skin only seals off the three directions you can see. It could lift you out of a locked room, and you would simply be gone, then set you down a mile away, and to every human watching it, would look like impossible magic. The same magic we are to the Flatlander. The exact same trick. We are just on the receiving end now, and we cannot even picture the shapes up there. Take the simplest four-dimensional object, a four-dimensional cube. It has a name, the Tesseract. We can describe it with math perfectly. 8 cubes folded together through that fourth direction. But you can never actually see one, because to draw it here, we are forced to flatten it down into our world, and what you get is only a shadow. A cube nested inside a cube, with lines connecting them, twisting in a way that looks wrong. That is not the Tesseract. That is one shadow of it, the way a solid cube casts a flat shadow on the ground. The real object is up there, in a direction your eyes cannot turn toward. Your brain physically cannot assemble the true shape. You are the Flatlander, staring at a hand, seeing only the line where it touches the page. Now stop, because this is where dimensions stop being neat little shapes and start breaking your intuition entirely. Up to here, you could almost keep up. A point, a line, a plane, a room, a hint of one more. Every level just added one clean direction. But the universe, according to our best attempts at the deepest physics, may not stop at a tidy 4. It may need far more. And the higher ones do not look like roomy new worlds you could walk around in. They look like something hidden, folded, and almost unbearably small. Here is the honest part, and I want to be very clear because this is where solid science blurs into theory. Everything from here up is unproven. It is some of the most serious math in physics, but no experiment has ever confirmed it. There is also a popular version of this you may have heard, where each higher dimension is described as every possible branch of every possible timeline, every choice you could have made stacked into one structure. That is a vivid thought model, a story to stretch the imagination, but it is not accepted physics, and it is not what these extra dimensions actually are. The real ones are about geometry, not alternate lives. So hold all of it as a maybe, not a fact. Dimension 5. Back in the early 20th century, two physicists, Kaluza and Klein, tried something strange, and this is where the universe starts hiding things from you on purpose. They took Einstein's equations for gravity and added one more spatial dimension, a fifth, and something beautiful fell out. The extra dimension's math looked exactly like electromagnetism, the force behind light, behind electricity, behind every magnet on your fridge. Two completely different forces suddenly looked like one thing seen from a higher view. It hinted that adding dimensions might be how the universe ties its forces together, but there was a catch. If a fifth dimension exists, where is it? Why can we not walk into it? Their answer was that it is curled up, rolled so tight, so unimaginably small that you pass through it constantly and never notice. Think of a garden hose seen from far away. It looks like a one-dimensional line. Walk right up to it, and you see the second dimension was there all along, wrapped into a tiny circle around the hose. Their idea was that the extra dimension is wrapped exactly like that around every point in space, but trillions upon trillions of times smaller than an atom. And modern physics did not stop at 5. Look up from your screen for 1 second. The air in front of your face is not empty. String theory, our boldest attempt to explain reality at the smallest scale, only works mathematically if the universe has 10 dimensions. The 3 you walk through, time, and 6 more spatial dimensions, all curled up impossibly tiny at every single point. Those 6 are thought to be folded into fantastically complex shapes called Calabi-Yau forms, knotted little structures hiding in every speck of empty space. Then M theory, which tries to unite the different versions of string theory, pushes the count to 11. And one older version, bosonic string theory, needed a staggering 26 dimensions to hold together. The number depends on the theory, and again, none of it is confirmed, but the picture it paints is the thing that should haunt you. Right now, in the air, a few inches in front of your face, there may be 6 or 7 extra directions, coiled up smaller than anything you will ever detect, threaded through every point of the room you are sitting in. Not far away in space, here, everywhere, all at once. One quiet note for honesty: these curled up dimensions are far too small for anything to live in or move through. So the being that could pluck you from a locked room rides only on the idea of a large fourth direction of space, not on these tiny folded ones. I am keeping them separate on purpose, so you do not walk away mixing a metaphor with a measurement. So let us close the loop I opened at the start. I promised you a level stranger than all the rest, wrapped around every point in front of your face, and there it is. If the theories are right, you are surrounded, threaded, saturated with directions you can never perceive. You are the Flatlander. Dead certain his page is the whole of reality. While a hand hovers just above him in a direction he has no word for, you move forward and back, left and right, up and down, and you are convinced that is everything. The same beautiful certainty the line creature had, the same certainty the flat creature had, every one of them sure they stood at the top of the staircase. We probably do not. If a larger fourth direction is out there, something could be gazing at every part of you at once, right now, and you would feel nothing. The walls that keep you safe only block the directions you know about. And the universe, very possibly, is built mostly out of the directions you do not. That is the quiet dread at the bottom of all this. Not that the cosmos is too big, it is that it might be too deep, folded in ways our minds were simply never wired to open. If this rearranged something in your head, sit with it. And if the idea of higher things reaching into our world stuck with you, watch the next one, where we ask what would actually happen to you if you fell into a black hole, and why the answer is so much stranger than you would ever expect. Stay curious, stay spaced out,